You're struggling to close deals or your sales numbers aren't exactly where you think they should be, sometimes it's not a big picture problem, it's just a single bottleneck that's holding you back. Today, I'm going to show you a simple tracker that you can use every day that's going to allow you to pinpoint the exact area where you're stuck in sales and allow you to focus on that one thing so that way you can start selling and closing more deals right away. Introducing the RGA Tracker. And before we dive into this, I want to make two quick points. RGA stands for Revenue Generating Activity. This is anything that you do or you're not currently doing in your day that's going to drive sales forward. The obvious things are sales calls, intro calls, discovery calls, cold calls, communicating over DMs. Any of those things are RGAs. Okay, and the other thing I want to show you is most people don't fail because they're bad at sales. Okay, they fail because they don't know where to focus their effort. So by the end of this video, you're going to be able to pinpoint exactly where you're stuck. You're going to know where to focus your efforts from this point forward. And then as soon as you fix that, you'll realize that the bottleneck is moved somewhere else and you can fix that one as well. All right, so the tracker is a very simple process. This works for 99% of the agencies that I've worked with. Basically, it boils your entire sales process into these 8 stages. So the first one here is MFC, that's move forward conversation. That's any conversation you're having with a prospect, trying to get them to move forward. So this is typically the very first part of the process where you're DMing someone, you're cold calling someone, someone's coming to you and asking questions. Anytime you're having a conversation to try and get them to move forward, that is a move forward conversation. Now, even if they say no, they're not interested, or you're talking to someone who's unqualified, you still started that conversation to try and get them to move forward. Many agencies I've talked to aren't signing clients, but they think it's somewhere, they think they need more intros or they think they need more demos, which is true, but they're not even trying to get those in the first place. They realize that most of their time is spent on fulfillment or dealing with fires or issues with the clients that they have, when what you should be doing is constantly looking for ways to reach out to new prospects who may be interested in what you're selling. All right, so then we have intros booked and intros held. Pretty self-explanatory. If you follow a 2-step sales process like I teach, you have the intro call and you have the demo call. So that's what intros and demos are here. Pretty self-explanatory. And you can see how the process naturally flows from having that initial conversation to booking a call, having the intro call, booking the demo call, which is next, holding that demo call, making an offer, and then, of course, signing them and onboarding them. What I also want to point out here is that you should not be making offers on every single demo you have. If they're not ready, after further discovery, if they're not ready, or if they don't have the budget, or it's not a good fit, you shouldn't be making an offer. Maybe you provide them with some resources and then you can put them in your ecosystem and they come back to you later. But you want to shoot for 100% offer to close ratio, because that means you're only offering your service to someone who's actually qualified. So you have to do your due diligence in the sales process and make sure they're a good fit before you offer. So this structure here gives you an entire view of your sales funnel from start to finish, from the very first conversation till they're actually onboarded as a client. Now we get to the hard part. The hard part is tracking this daily. How many MFCs are you having per day? How many demos are you holding per day? So down at the bottom, you can set targets for the week. So for example, I have here 50 MFCs for the week. That's 10 per day, Monday through Friday. And as you go through the day, let's say Monday you had 5, Tuesday you had 2, Wednesday you had 0, and on and on and on. You can see what your total is for the week compared to what your target is. Now, of course, if all of these are zeros, you cannot expect to onboard a new client that week. But as you start to have these move forward conversations each week, what you'll find is that you're going to start getting some intros booked. And then you're going to start holding some intro calls, eventually turning those into demos, etc. So the first thing you want to do in this sheet is set your weekly targets. So what you want to do is leave this sheet open track it every single day. And what you're going to find after the very first week is that you're not having enough MFCs, or you're not booking enough demos, or you're not making enough offers. And all of those things are going to give you clues about your sales process, where the bottleneck lies. At the end of the week, all you do is duplicate this blank week right here. You'll rename this to week number 2, or however you want to name it, and you start the process again. It's big, it's bulky, it's simple, it's easy, but it's not done by the majority of agency owners that are struggling to get new leads, new sales, new clients in the door. So this works really well from a simplicity standpoint, because you just duplicate the sheet tab and you do 1 per week. So if you would like to get a bigger picture view of all the weeks combined, then you should use the advanced log instead. So the advanced log works very similarly because it has the same columns. It's just now we're tracking all the way down here. So each one of these rows is a new day, and you just put in the numbers as you go through the day. And I'll move over to a demo to kind of show you what these numbers can do. So here you can see 2 weeks of activity that's been logged. And what it's going to do is allow you to put in your weekly average that you want. So similar to the targets on the other tab, but you're also going to be able to see throughout the entirety what your average is and compare that to your goals. So let's say your goal was to book 5 out of 50 MFCs to an intro, right? So that's 10%. 10% is your goal. Well, over here, based on the data that we've been putting in every single day, we've had 19 MFCs, which is, it's red because it's not our goal. And we've only booked 2.5 of those on average, which gives us 13%. So we're actually within our MFC to intro booking ratio. That's what we want. However, we're not booking as many as we want. As you start to fill this out, you simply put in the new day, you put in your numbers, you can see how everything will automatically adjust. And you can see very clearly where your bottlenecks are. So here, we're not meeting our goal. We're not meeting our goal of offers made to clients signed. So we would like to be making 1 offer on average per week. We can see that we're making 2, so that's great. And we want to convert 100% of those into clients. However, we're only converting 67% of those into clients. So what does that mean? Well, if you go down to this area here, it's going to give you some guidance based on your numbers. So if your offer to sign ratio is under 50%, then you need to close harder. In our case, we have 67%. And remember, you're only supposed to make an offer to those who are actually qualified. If you're making offers to those who aren't qualified and they're not closing, then it's obvious why they're not closing. But if you're only making the offer to those who would be a good fit, but they're not working, then you just need to close harder. In our case, if we're under 50%, we need to close harder. So these are just guidelines right here. You can adjust these to kind of be based on what your actual goals are. But as a baseline, if you're not closing at least 50% of the deals that you make an offer on, then you need to close harder. Let's see where else we have a bottleneck. So clients onboarded 75%. So our goal is 100% that we sign to onboard, but we're only onboarding 75% of those. So why is that? Maybe the client is falling off. Maybe the client is having buyer's remorse. Maybe the client isn't getting you the information you need to onboard. So that's indicative of either a bad onboarding process or an emotional buyer who bought before they were ready. So percentage-wise, we're doing good for the rest of these. We're in the goals that we've set for ourselves. However, the actual numbers are not looking good. We're not getting enough move forward conversations. We're not getting enough intros booked and held. So this is where the bottleneck is happening. We're getting a good number of demos booked. So we're doing a really good job of converting those small numbers into actual deals. Maybe that means your prospecting is very well, your qualification is very good. However, the purpose of this is to highlight our bottlenecks. We should be focusing on more MFCs, because if we can keep these ratios, adding more MFCs is only going to add more clients. So at the end of each day, just take a few minutes, fill out this tracker according to the numbers that you have, even if it's already tracked in a CRM or somewhere else. That just makes it easier for you to take those numbers and manually input them into this sheet. Yes, you can automate this, but for now, at the start, I want you to manually look at these numbers and see where your bottlenecks are and see where you need to improve. So whether you use the advanced sheet or you use the simple sheet, it doesn't matter. The magic of this tracker is in the clarity that it gives you. If you're having plenty of MFCs but not booking any intros, it tells you that your outreach or your conversation skills need work. If you're booking intros but not closing deals, maybe your pitch needs refined. If you're creating offers but you're not closing deals, maybe it's your pricing, maybe it's your follow-up, or maybe you just need to overcome the objections and close harder. There's a number of different things that it could be, but this tool will allow you to focus in on the area that's going to make the biggest impact on your sales process. So by focusing on these 5 metrics every single day, it's going to allow you to stay focused, identify exactly where the bottlenecks are, and be able to make data-driven decisions about your sales. So next steps, I need you to start using this tracker today. If you want to get a copy of this tracker, there's a link in the description. It's completely free. And if you found this helpful, please subscribe, leave a comment, let me know so I can continue to make videos like this that are actually helpful to you all. Remember, sales is about consistency. The clearer you are about what's working and what's not, the faster you'll be at improving your sales process.